So very delighted to be here.
What's up?
When you feel complete and total alignment, I feel
Which
like
translates into what kinds of emotions?
Complete and total joy and
Eagerness.
gratitude. And the thing that you are feel completely in alignment with does not show up.
Well, that's a contradiction to the laws as we know them to be.
Exactly.
So something's happening. Maybe you're not quite as in touch with the way you feel as you think you are. Or maybe there's more to experience. Maybe there's a deeper desire that you haven't quite ferreted out yet. Maybe there's more for you to identify as your desire, because you are deliberate and you are picky. And that's a good thing.
How can I prevent myself from going into a witch hunt as, okay, I either have what I have or I don't? What is in the way?
That's really why we've begun talking about the unconditional love, the uncondition of it, because there isn't anything that anyone wants, whether it's a material object or a relationship or a state of being or a pile of money or an experience. There isn't anything that anybody wants or ever has wanted that is for any other reason than you believe you will feel better in the having of it. And so if you can leave the condition aside for a little bit, especially when it's feeling like that, and just focus upon feeling good, just focus on feeling good. Focus on other things that do feel good. Here's the easiest way for you to hear it. Step 1 is ask, step 2 is source answers, and step 3 is allow it. Step 1, 2, 3. There will be infinite steps because you keep wanting more clarification. But step 1, step 2, step 3, that's the basis of the creative process. They are different steps. Step 1 is an asking step. Step 2 isn't even your work. Step 2 is the laws of the universe and the source within you lining things up, delivering it to you in vibrational form. Step 3 is you put yourself in a place of allowing to be in the receptive mode so that you can follow the clues and the trail and the path and the feeling to the manifestation of what you want. And so the thing that trips more people up than all other things put together is that you won't let go of asking. And in the asking, there is the awareness that it hasn't happened yet. So I want this thing I do not have. 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 Well, cut it out. You have asked. It has been duly noted. It has been arranged. It has been created. It is being given to you, and the clues are forthcoming. Stop noticing it isn't done yet. Get on to other things. So if you really want something that you really want to come, ask for some other things, because when you take your attention off that, it'll happen. That's a really good trick.
My other question is about vibration. And all of the information out there is raise vibration.
Well, we agree with that, but rather than emphasizing raising vibration, we would say allow your vibration to raise by not doing that thing you do that disallows it. Imagine a cork floating, and let's call that a high vibration. Hold it under the water. I'm worried about this, I'm worried about that, I don't like that. Now let go of the cork, it'll bob right back up. So you don't have to raise your vibrations, just stop doing that thing you do that puts resistance in it, which lowers it.
Which would actually lower the vibration and make it less peaks and
When you
valleys. And
introduce
more
resistance
sedate.
to any vibration, it always slows the vibration. These are laws of physics that you understand.
When we meditate,
So we like to say it in this way, no longer do that thing you're doing. And how do you know you're doing that thing? You don't feel good while you're doing it. Negative emotion is always present when you're doing that thing that lowers vibration. Isn't that nice to know? Negative emotion is always present when you're doing that thing you do that lowers vibration. So if you've got negative emotion, stop and say, oh, I've got negative emotion, and I'm doing that thing I do that lowers my vibration, and it's keeping me from being in the receptive mode, so I can't follow the clue to the path of the things that I really want.
So in essence, when I'm meditate or pray or ground and centering, to me it feels calming and a lower vibration.
But it isn't. But you see, here's the thing. Imagine yourself in an airplane. You're 30, 40, 50,000 feet in the air, and you're going 300, 400, 500 miles an hour. And you look out the window, and everything just looks perfect. Put that aircraft on the ground at 500 miles an hour, where there's more resistance, it doesn't feel so perfect. And so you can feel calm in very fast vibration if you are not resistant. You see what we're getting at? Esther was on a walkway with about 30 other people, a moving walkway at the airport the other day. And she had her bag and she wasn't walking. Usually she walks on those moving walkways. But there were so many people sort of ahead of her and behind her that she decided to just stand there with the rest of them and enjoy the short ride to the end of the moving walkway. And all of a sudden, the walkway, which had been moving, stopped abruptly. And everyone sort of piled over on top of each other because no one was expecting it. They had all adjusted to the speed of the walkway. There was a sort of mental thing. This is how fast we're going. It's like all the muscles in their body had adjusted the speed of it. And if it had come to the end, they would have all stepped off easily. But the fact that the thing came to a stop, no one fell down, but everyone really hooted and hollered, and they became friendly with each other in ways that they hadn't expected to. Because of the adjustment in the momentum. And so vibration is like that. In other words, you can have a smooth, steady ride, or you can have a sort of halting, jerky ride. Picture the wheel and sticking a stick in it. It's sort of the best analogy that we have for the discord that you apply to your own momentum from time to time. When you meditate, you're quieting your mind. When you quiet your mind, you stop thought. When you stop thought, you stop all resistance. So meditation really is a nice state of being. Appreciation is too. Appreciation is a wonderful state of allowing the natural momentum of who you are to flow. Yeah. Helpful?
Extremely. So when I stop focusing on the lack of a romantic relationship, it will appear.
Because it's in your vortex and it has already become. And your attention to what isn't happening will not allow what has already happened to be realized by you.
When the thought comes back,
The thought that says,
where is she? How come she hasn't shown up yet? So when she is not showed up, after I feel, I feel the elation and the experience.
So you're depending in that moment of discomfort on the condition to support the emotion. That's what you've got to stop doing. Because you can support the emotion by focusing on other things, or by anticipating that, or by imagining that, or by just enjoying positive emotion. That would be like, let's say that there are 10 programs available to you on your television, and you have your remote control handy, and you turn it to one, and it isn't pleasing to you. But you sit there and you just demand that it turn into something that's pleasing to you. I really don't like this program. I hope it changes. I don't like any of those actors. I hope that they become different. And wouldn't it just be logical to just check around, to explore some other channels or some other subjects? So when the subject that you are exploring doesn't please you, check around. Look to other subjects like the power of your mind, or the thrill of meditation, or the feeling of clarity, or how well things are going relative to business. Just change the subject to something that allows your connection. That's really an important thing to understand, isn't it? Have we convinced you that the connection is really what you're reaching for? The connection is what matters. The connection is where your resources are, is where your clarity is where all of the fun is. It's certainly where the leading edge is. It's certainly where you rendezvous with everything that you want and who you really are. Have we convinced you of the importance of connection? And so what you're wanting to connect with is your source, not your lover. Connect with your source and then find your lover. Don't need your lover to find your source. Source is available all the time. Connect to that, and then everything else will follow. Everything else will follow. But if you need something else to be different than it is in order to feel good, now you're going about it in the backwards way. You've got that, don't you? You really do have that. That matters so much. Do you believe that you have the ability to feel the way you want to feel? Mostly. Do you believe that there are conditions that prevent you from feeling good? Yeah, sometimes things are hard. Do you believe that you could get a good night's sleep and wake up and focus a little differently and feel better? Yes, of course you do. You've done it frequently. Do you believe that the people in your world, in your life, especially those up close, owe it to you to behave in ways that keep you happy? Yes, you do. You do believe that. Yes, you do. You do believe that. But that's not working out very well, is it? In other words, nothing will alienate those up close to you more than convincing them that they need to be different so that you can feel good. You can get away with it for a little while, but it gets really old really fast, doesn't it? And your children will not allow you to get away with it. They know better coming in. Have you noticed? And so when you begin to take responsibility for the way you feel, and you don't demand that something be different than it is right now, this red hot minute, and you show yourself that you have the ability to self-soothe, that's really what it is, to self-soothe, which is the same thing as to self-align, to align with self. When you show yourself that you have the ability to do that, then you've taught yourself that you can tap into this empowerment, and then ideas flow, impulses are right, and that's when those rendezvous happen, you see. But you can't find someone when you think they're missing. It defies law. So you meet some great person, they're everything you want, and you're just looking at them like, can't be you, because who I'm looking for I can't find. And there they are. They're screaming at you, it's me, it's really me. Your inner being says, it's her, it's really her. And you're saying, I've been looking and 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 looking. And she's saying, look closer, look closer. I can't find you. I can't find you. It really is that bold. You're looking right at him and saying, I don't see you. I don't see you anywhere, because you are blind to what you're really looking for. Unless you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on. And then you're always in the right place at the right time. Enough? Really good. Really good. Do you know that your inner being knows everything that you are asking for, and knows where you stand in vibrational proximity to it, and knows how to guide you through the path of least resistance to each and everything that you want? Through the path of least resistance, did you hear those words? Which is the same thing as the path of most allowance. Path of least resistance, meaning that if you're like most people, you've thrown some resistance on your trail because you've lived life, you've seen things you don't want, and you've got some stuff active in your vibration. So when you ask for something, sometimes there's some vibration that's in the way. But your inner being knows all of the vibrations that you've put in your way and is calling you around it. That's why it takes you a little while to get there, because you sort of have to go over and around and under and through the resistance that you've put there. So when we get together with you, our dominant intent is to help you feel a desire to get more and more resistance out of your way. In other words, feel better more of the time. Which means you got to understand law of attraction, because whatever you're focused upon, law of attraction is going to add to. So if you catch your negative thought, your negative pushing against something, if you catch your defying your own desire in the early stages before it gathers much momentum, it's easier to stop. Esther will never forget her first time on top of a hill in San Francisco. She couldn't believe it. She couldn't believe that people actually lived there and drove up and down those hills. Wouldn't it be interesting if you were at top of one of those hills, you take your car out of gear, you take the parking brake off, and you just stand outside of it, put it in neutral, and nudge it just a little bit from behind, because you're sort of interested in what will happen to your car. Well, it's not a big mystery, is it? Because you know that the momentum of that car is going to become quite quickly. But if you realize it and you just step out in front of it and let it bump up against you, no big deal. But you wouldn't want to be at the bottom of the hill stopping that car, because that momentum is hard to stop. And that really is the point that we're making about your thoughts. If you can catch the momentum early and choose a different thought, it's easy to do that. But if there is momentum, don't beat up on yourself. It's nearly impossible to stop a strong thought all at once. Train's going 80 miles an hour that way. You wouldn't want it all of a sudden to go 80 miles an hour that way. It would be very hard on what's inside the train. And that's true of you too. Just let it slow down and then let it speed up. And that's what deliberate creating really is.